Dr. Caliban's worst date ever. Now, I want to preface about how young I was at the time. I could not legally drink in the state of Washington yet. I could in Vancouver, British Columbia. You know the liquor laws, you have my age range at the time. So I was young. And this was going to be a second date. So you've gotten past the first date. It went well enough that there's going to be a second. Excellent. So we decide we're going to dinner, and we're not going anywhere fancy. We're going to the movies afterwards. Well, movies. We decided our second date, we were going to go, brace yourselves, folks. We were going to go see the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Yes, that was going to be our second date. In retrospect, that might have been a sign that we weren't planning very well. Regardless, we decided, okay, well, we're going to go to dinner beforehand. Now, the Rocky Horror, it's a midnight show, so it's later. So it's reasonable dinner time when we go to the restaurant. And, well, while we're at this restaurant, there was another person going to the restaurant at the same time to eat, who just so happened to be someone she dated in high school. I was like, all right, well, hi. And then she just sort of out of the, well, why don't you join us? Now, here's an interesting, I was discussing this with Mrs. Caliban today about why I didn't raise any objections. And part of this is, all right, at that age, this was many years before my formal diagnosis as being autistic. And I was following what was the normal patterns of you go out on a date. But now the pattern was to be broken. She's invited somebody to join. Do I object? Will that come off as bad if I object? So I just, okay, whatever. And then I went, that's fine. It's fine. We'll have dinner. And then we'll go off to the theater and everything will be fine. So we sit down. And he joins us. And I'm very much a third wheel. They're reminiscing like crazy. I have nothing to add to this conversation because they're reminiscing about their time in high school together. Well, fine. Eventually, dinner ends. We bid our adieus to the gentleman, and we head off. And we get to the theater. And who should show up at the theater but the same guy? I'm sure you all saw that coming. Because we'd mentioned, we're going to go see the Rocky Horror Picture Show tonight. So he shows up to the theater. All right, fine. Well, obviously he sits with us. And they're having a great time. And it becomes very clear to me as this is going on that this is no longer my date with her. It's his, I just drove her. So I excuse myself because, it's not going how I'd anticipated. Feeling a little mopey. And I've been to the Rocky Horror Theater. I've been there many times. So I just go off, excuse myself. And I, go to the concession stand. I get something to drink. Go sit in one of the other areas for a while with some people I know because I'm feeling kind of mopey. But eventually I decide I should make my way back to my date, such as it is. And I get there. And she is very happy. She's very excited. She can't wait to tell me the good news. He proposed. That's right. While she was on a date with me, she got engaged to be married to another person. Well then, because I don't know the proper etiquette for that. I mean, what do you say? Well, other than congratulations? And at that point, I'm like, well, you know what? This is fine. She's clearly got a ride home. I think I'm just going to head out. And I didn't really say anything. I didn't say bye. I just got up. Oh, I'll be. Yeah, I forgot something. Got up and left the theater. And went home. Yeah. And the only thing I really was consoling myself... Oh, the reason they were getting engaged, and the reason it was kind of pertinent, he was getting ready to ship out to the army. Yes, he had enlisted. And he was going to be leaving in a little bit in the future. So it was kind of important to get this. I want to point out that this was not a plan. They had just run into each other at a restaurant. And that random run-in while she was on a date with me led to engagement. So, well, I was consoling, oh, there's no way this is going to last. That's very, whatever. So I head off. I don't really have much to do with her after. I mean, there was some similar circles of friends, but not a lot. Couple follow-ups. So I would occasionally tell this story. And I was regaling my coworkers at Wizards of the Coast. And one of them was telling me that he admired my restraint. He would have, he says he would have looked at the guy and told him that he would have asked for reimbursement for the dinner and the movie ticket. He figured I was owed about $30. He also said he would have looked at the girl and said, so I'm assuming this means no boom boom. But I can't. That's just rude. And you know me, I won't be rude. And so that was just a story I would tell periodically. Now, this is the part where, if you're watching this in video form, a little screen would pop up and go, 20 years later. Because about 2 decades after the fact, I was seeing this woman. In fact, it was the person I dated before Mrs. Caliban. And a friend of hers was getting married, and so we were going to go to the wedding. And who should we run into at the wedding? But, well, it was her. Yes, it was her. Yeah, she was the lady I was dating at the time, she was a friend of the bride. And her husband was a friend of the groom. And when I mean her husband, I mean the guy she had gotten engaged to while on a date with me. They were still together. They had a child. They made it work. Now, I had told my girlfriend that story. She said, "Wait, is that them?" And I was like, yes. Yes, it is. This is very awkward. Let's not let anyone know I tell that story. It's going to could get very strange, and I don't want it to get very strange. Other fun fact, the wedding was held at a house not two doors down from my sister's house. So after the ceremony was over, I excused myself, knocked on my sister's door, and said, have I got a follow-up story to tell you? And so there you have it. The worst date I ever went on. Because, yes, as lucky you who is saying, awkward. Yes, very awkward. Yeah, it's just one of those, all those years I thought, well, I'm never going to see her again. But it defied all reason that they would stay together. But apparently, this is the other, you want the Kappa? She acknowledges what happened. In hindsight, she does acknowledge that I was treated a little poorly that evening. I mean, they don't regret it because obviously they've had a happy life together. But she at least acknowledges that, yeah, that was probably really strange for you. They didn't blame me for leaving. Which I thought was very nice of them.